welcome to Tsukikari Anime Podcast, where we look at anime with fresh new eyes and give you our input. I'm EliseAyumu.
And I'm Lucian Shoten. So, what anime do you have in store for us today?
So today we're watching Angel's 3Piece. We're going to watch the first 3 episodes of it and then give you our input. It's about a teenager who refuses to go to school and spends most of his days composing songs and publishing them online. One day he's approached by a trio of 3 orphaned little girls who ask him for his help to hold a performance at a church where they live. He was very intrigued by this, and so he decided to take them up on their offer. Now, if that sounds familiar, that's because I stole it off of Wikipedia. We seriously haven't watched this at all. That's just the plot synopsis.
So, this anime sounds like it's going to be a very basic slice of life music anime that's going to try some sappy stuff with orphans, but I feel like it's going to fall flat. I hope that proves me wrong. I do like my sappy stuff when it's done correctly, but I have very low hopes for this anime.
I think it's interesting that you mentioned the orphans. I really hope they actually do something with the orphans rather than it just being, oh, they're orphans, let's go on with it.
Yeah, I mean, a plot device like that is definitely something that is overused but not utilized within anime. There's a lot of main protagonists who will have no parents, or one parent will not be there for some reason that's left unexplained. Pokemon, for instance. But, like, they never do anything with it. It's very much always just, oh, look, we have background for this character, but it's not actually background. It's just what we're going to put there so that you think we have a background for this character.
Alright, so we're going to go watch those 3 episodes and we'll be right back.
And we are back. So, how do you feel about Angel's 3Piece after the 3 episodes that we just spent watching this anime?
I can tell by that you don't really have a good opinion yourself. I thought it was cute. It's definitely...
No, what's your definition on cute? Because I'm going to say this right now. People who have a problem with sexualizing children are going to hate this anime. This anime is definitely not for people who are against lolicon. This anime is 100% targeted towards people who are lolicons.
Okay, yeah, there's that. There's definitely that. But putting the loliconness aside, it's a cute anime.
Yeah, but the cuteness I seem to think was a little on the cringy side. Like, they were just trying too hard.
Oh yeah, you gotta be telling me, especially with June. I hate that character.
Oh, her voice actress was the worst voice actress I have ever heard.
It's probably not even the voice actress's fault. They probably put her in a booth and said, do the highest pitched, shyest voice you can do. And she came out talking like this, and I'm so sorry.
It was almost more of a hiss than it was actual talking.
At least they kept her voice when they did the singing parts, because if she had a completely different voice...
Which, can I... So, this girl is the main singer of the group. She's also the shy one with the quietest voice in the group. Why is she the lead singer? They all play an instrument. She plays lead guitar. You should leave the singing to the rhythm guitar player, who has the most prominent voice of the group.
Yeah, she definitely has the most prominent voice, and she's also the most, I thought she was going to be a tsundere at first, but it turns out she's just a really shy person.
She's more of a hime-dere. Which, speaking of hime-dere, every single character in this show falls under a dere type. Every single girl character. It's almost like they saw the trope of deres, and they're like, alright, how do we maximize this trope?
And now that gets me to questioning, what's the dere type of the male lead?
bland?
Blanderay? I don't think there's such a thing as blanderay.
There's Borderay, so why not blanderay? Though Borderay does not actually mean the character is boring, it just means that a character is very much quiet, but then will probably punch you in the face and murder you.
The thing is, he doesn't fit into a Duray type, but he is definitely a neat.
Yeah, and he's, like I said, he's very bland. He doesn't seem to have much of a character besides the point that he was bullied, which isn't even a character, it's just a reason for him to be.
Can we talk about the reason why he's bullied? Because I think it's an absolutely hilarious reason.
Oh yeah, this is a hilarious thing. So this guy, the main character, what was his name? Kyo? Kyo. He was bullied because he wrote a really good, and this is quote unquote, really good poem.
Like, he has talent for it, says the professor. Now, let me say that. Professor, or teacher, if you want to call him a teacher. It was a class assignment. Everyone was reading a poem. Some guy, after he read his poem, was reading another poem.
And this guy, across the classroom, already had this written up and ready to toss at him as soon as he was done, saying, "Nice poem, bro."
LOL.
Like, come on. At least think of a good reason to get him bullied. Write a poem? That's a little much.
If he was writing a poem unprovoked and, like, all I'm thinking about is Mikey from Recess. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Disney's Recess, but he was, like, the poetic one and the dancing one. If he was a character like that, I could see why you would bully him. But bullying him based off of a school assignment that everyone literally had to write a poem for makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah, no, that was them trying to make you feel sorry for him, but not giving you a reason to. I mean, even if someone's going to get bullied for writing a good poem, that's going to pass over within a couple weeks at most. And it's not even like they went to the full extent of Japanese bullying that you see in many other animes. All they were doing was laughing that he wrote a good poem.
Yeah, and all they were doing was laughing. I mean, I get it. I'm a person with anxiety by myself, and I think they actually showed the panic attack scene really well for somebody with anxiety. But once again, it would pass. I understand it, the fact that he's a NEET, and they really want to say this is why he's a NEET. But if they had bullying, like, thumbtacks and shoes and stuff like that, I would understand that getting him to the NEET side a lot more than just
Now, so far, his parents haven't been shown at all. So what they could have done, which I still think would have been a little on the cheesy, unnecessary side, but a better thing they could have done would have been to have it so that his parents died, leaving him traumatized, and therefore not wanted to go out of the house too often. And that would have been a better reason for him to become a NEET, and it would have given him something to connect with the three main girl characters a lot more, being orphaned himself.
Yeah, because I feel like the only thing they connect about is their music, but you don't, at least in the first 3 episodes, you might in the rest of the episode. It is only a 12 episode long anime at this point in time anyways. But if they told you why he's so connected to music, why music is the only one thing that he's willing to actually go and meet a complete stranger to talk about in public, then it would put more detail into why he would connect so well with the 3 of them.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't actually understand the whole what music has to do with poetry type deal, because his song that he wrote that they noticed, it didn't even have lyrics, did it?
Not the recent one that June recognized the track 3 or TRO3, which I'm assuming is track 3.
Actually, this brings up a whole other thing. You listen to the girls play in episode 1. Now, in terms of an amateur band, they played really well. Like, insanely well. In fact, they probably shouldn't be playing that well because from a flashback in like the second episode, you realize that they only start playing like a year ago. So it's definitely an unrealistic amount of talent that apparently they have.
Almost definitely.
But they play really well, and they're composed enough to play it, so why do they need a composer?
Yeah,
Like, so much so that they went out of their way to find someone online and contact him and ask him to be their composer.
See, the music that they're using right now, though, I'm pretty sure it is Hibiki P's music, or Kyo's music, as their main music, with the lyrics and everything. Which is why they're like, we're playing your songs. And he's like, I'm not sure anyone would like to hear my songs being played in concert.
that would make a lot more sense. But then again, if he's sitting there saying that no one would want to hear his songs played in a concert, then what good is he as the composer?
Well, look, yeah.
That's exactly it. You can't argue that.
But I mean, especially since he's a NEET. I mean, yeah, I'm bringing that up again, but because he's a NEET, you know he's going to have these self-doubts about himself.
Yeah.
And I mean, he has 3 very hot, lowly chicks going around with him saying that they can touch him if he wants.
Yeah, they did something that I caught, and I'm not sure if you caught.
I didn't catch it in the first, but when they recapped it in the second...
No, because in the first one, she says, you can touch it at the end. In the second one, she says, you can touch me. Now, that might just been, oh, see, this is what he's thinking. But at the same time, you literally just put an episode ago, at the very end, exactly what she said. So it doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah.
That was them just trying to make comedy out of a lewd situation that they put themselves in.
Which they
that
do
was
an
unnecessary.
awful lot during this anime.
The guy who made this anime is a complete lolicon. Like, 100%. Like, he wants to bang some children. No, I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm sorry if you ever listen to this and you're not actually a lolicon, but I'd question why you made this anime in that case.
It just makes me want to read the light novel and the manga that it was based off of and see if it was originally like that in the light novel, or if it was added in the manga, or if it was just added in the anime.
Tell you right now, if it was in the light novel and it's in the manga, they're probably showing actual shit in the manga, because manga tends to be a lot less censored than TV.
Unless you're reading like something like Mirai Nikki.
We're not even going to get into that.
No, we're not. We're sticking with Angel's 3-piece. So we've basically discussed what we thought of the characters, but did you want to continue on with that? Like, what did you think of each of the 3 girls separately?
I thought that the characters themselves, where they had archetype in their different race that they were, other than that, they were actually bland characters. They had no development within these first 3 episodes. I don't see this anime ever really giving them further development, since it is only a 12-episode anime.
Now, you say they had no development, but I sensed a little bit, like a very tiny amount of development in the 3rd episode when you find out that they don't play with the other girls at school.
Now, you say that, but they've already kind of been shown as a tight-knit group, which is a very typical thing of orphans, especially within media. When you were growing up without parents, you tend to shut yourself off from other kids. And even more so if you're growing up with other kids, you just stick with your own group. And that's all they showed. They didn't show any character development there. They just showed the typical, see, we're orphans. And that's all their character is. Their characters are... They're orphans, and they're a Dure.
Yeah.
And that's all. And, well, that's fine as a baseline to use. You have to add more to set them apart. Like, the Kudere, I could tell you another anime that she's from. Because there's literally an exact clone of her.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You thought it was a specific voice actress, and it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, literally played the exact same character, exact same voice. The character had the exact same mannerisms. Like, the putting a thumbs up when doing a good job and stuff. Like, exact same mannerisms. And the shy one, oh god, the shy one. What was her name again?
The shy one, Nozomi or June?
June. Oh god, June.
I did not like June at all.
Oh, she is the basic shy, what's the Dre again? Dendre. She is just sitting there, oh, I'm too shy to, talk, but I love you. And that's another thing. All these girls just meet this dude.
And it's a harem
and
like that.
he literally does nothing, and they're all in love with him. Like, is he just the most good-looking guy in the world? In which case, why was he getting bullied? You figured the girls at his school would stick up for him a little bit. Poet and good-looking.
Oh, no, from what I've seen of the high schoolers that are in his class, he's not the best-looking guy out in the world, I can tell you that right now.
And that's exactly it. So why have these three girls, his sister, another girl from his school, all magically fallen in love with this guy?
Yeah, and that's another thing. The sister loves him and banned him from getting married. Now, I don't know if that was just... Nope, they were playing Monopoly, not life.
Yeah. She has a monopoly over him, apparently.
Oh, they really like getting you, going back to the lolicon stuff, they really like getting you with the massaging of the girls and
can we talk a moment about a scene where the male says that they need to spice it up a little bit for their advertisement, and the kudere, Sora, she goes, leaves the room with the other girls saying she has an idea, comes back, she comes in first, and she's in an elementary school swimsuit.
Which, I mean, isn't bad, but it's hilarious.
Next girl comes in. She's in a Japanese schoolgirl sports uniform.
Which, by the way, is not hers. She bought it at a flea market.
Yeah, I don't want to know what was getting done to that before she bought it. And then, the next girl comes in, and she's in an apron. What's underneath the apron?
Panties.
Just panties, which they show.
Over and over and over again.
So it's like, alright, so they're trying to sexualize this, whatever. Then the girl says it's unfair that the guy only saw her panties, and goes and tries pulling down the pants of June so that her panties are showing for him too. Like...
Which, I don't know if you've ever seen Japanese schoolgirl track and field outfits, but they basically look like you're wearing panties in the first place.
And this was uncomfortable to watch.
It was uncomfortable, but it was fucking hilarious.
Like, it was hilarious to begin with, like, when the first girl steps out of the swimsuit and you're like, oh shit, I see where this is going. But after that, it gets really uncomfortable.
Yeah, when she comes out in the gym uniform, it's like, oh, so they're doing a school thing. First thing that popped into my head was, so Nozomi, who is the third sister, is going, and by the way, I say sisters, but they're not actually related, they're just sisters because they live in the orphanage together. But, so I'm like, she's gonna come out in a regular school uniform.
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought the theme was.
Well, that is definitely the trope. realistically, they should have started off with schoolgirl uniform, gone to gym uniform, then gone to swimsuit. That would be the proper, but yeah, that's exactly it. They want to try going looter. And there was no need for it because it would have been funnier the other way. Because everyone would have seen where it was going, and they definitely could have made that into an actual funny scene. And now the scene ends with the priest, the one taking care of them, walking in and seeing the guy.
The priest, by the way, is an exorcist now and a giant dick.
And he has zero problems with this.
Oh yeah, zero problems. That's part of him being a dick.
Like, can you say priests are pedophiles any further? Like, alright.
Yeah, the main character, Kyo, he's like, I'm going to be reported. I'm actually going to be reported. And then they go into the church and he's just like, they're such a handful, aren't they?
Like, hilariously bad.
The end of that scene, the church scene, can you please help them give up their dream? And then he's thinking about it for a bit, comes back the next day, and the priest is just like, no, JK, I was just kidding about that. It's better they go out with a bang.
Can I also mention the fact that there'd be no reason for them to give up a dream? Their dream is just to play a concert. They're not aiming for anything in particular. They just want to play in front of a crowd in their church, which looks like it can hold maybe like 50 people. It's not that hard to draw up that audience to a free show.
Now, maybe it's because I've watched Love Live already. Both versions of Love Live. But I actually thought that the reason that they would be wanting to put on the concert is they need to save the church from closing down. And they might still do that, but that's not why they want to play the concert. They want to play the concert for memory reasons. That's what they mention.
Yeah.
But the priest does mention that the orphanage is shutting down, and that's why they started up the band.
Yeah, but he also mentions that they started up the band after he said some things when he was drunk. And like you said, it's basically just he said that he wanted to do something in the church that would have really made like a bang for service or whatever. And so they just want to get a crowd at the church and go out with a bang, like you said. Like that's literally all it was. And may I mention that is the worst goal any anime protagonist has ever had. We just want to play a concert for fun. We're going to make a whole anime around. We just want to play a concert for fun.
I mean, they made a whole anime around. We just want to work out.
They made a whole anime around ping pong. Ping pong the animation, folks. Check it out.
It's a good anime. From apparently what I've heard. I haven't watched it. Have you?
Nope.
Apparently that's one of the animes we're going to be watching and giving you our input on.
Maybe one day, but that day is definitely not today.
Not today at all. What did you think about the music in the show, since it is a music anime?
I actually thought that the music was really well done. I thought that the music for this anime would either follow a more classical approach, a softer approach, or maybe even like J-pop, but instead they went with more so classic rock, J-rock type feel to it. And that actually surprised me a lot, so I was quite pleased with that.
Yeah, see, I was scared. I thought they were going to stick with just basic idol.
Yeah, like I said, like J-pop type deal, but yeah, no, they went full in. That opening riff, episode 1, literally the very beginning, you hear a nice riff at the beginning, listen to it, it's actually really good.
Yeah, and the way they animate the hands, and now I'm not sure if that's CG or if that's actually being animated, but they actually animate the hands pretty well when they're playing the instruments.
They do not do so at any other point.
No, there's this one point on when Kyo's sister is crossing her arms, and she has a baby hand.
And it kind of looks the wrong way as well.
Yeah, it looks like a backwards baby hand.
Like it. Yeah, they did not do a good job there. In fact, let's talk about the animation and art style a little bit. How did you feel about it?
I thought it was smooth at times, but other times not so smooth. Like, it was smooth when they were up close and details, but when they were further out, you could see, like, the lining of the animation, like, the lining of the characters were a lot more thicker, and it just threw off the anime vibes.
Yeah.
But there's this one scene that they played, like, twice, which was, like, water flowing down a river. That was beautifully animated.
Yes, yeah, definitely. They did a decent job on the backgrounds, I'd say. Very average art style, like, very average. Nothing, like, too spectacular, nothing inventive. But overall, they did a decent job. Not anything that would turn anyone off, I don't think. There wasn't too many flaws with it. There was the hand.
Yeah, there was something that was turning me off at the, like, very beginning when I first saw the girls in the show. And that was that the cheeks, like, the blush on the cheeks are way too red and they, like, bleed out.
Yeah, definitely. That's a thing.
I'm not the only one who noticed it.
No.
I wanted to, like, take that off of my notes, but then every single time I would see it again, and I'm like, I can't take it off my notes because it's a thing that's happening.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it's just this one scene. Maybe it's just because it's the introductory scene, so it's in that La La Land fancy bleached out look, but it wasn't.
And I have a statement that might be unpopular, I'm not sure, but the opening scenes where he's typing on the computer to June, I believe at the time, they went through a thing where he was, like, picturing actually talking to them in person. I'm not a fan of this.
I was actually a fan of it. I really like the fact that he was actually picturing, like, this man, but it was a faceless man because he didn't have any visuals. He's also talking to that one person online, and he's basing her appearance off of the artwork that she did, which I found was a very neat thing to do.
Yeah, that's definitely a positive about it. I just mean the overall of them doing it. Like basically they had it so that there was the chat going up in the corner and then them standing there with it going on.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. Either have the chat showing on a screen or have them actually talking to each other.
Yeah.
And then show the screen afterwards with all that on it.
That would have been much more...
Like I said, it's more so the delivery of what they were doing that was bad, not the actual content in itself.
Now, there's something that I noticed about 15 minutes into the first episode is when I first noticed it, but there's angel symmetry.
Yes, definitely. At the church.
At the church, they have June standing there in front of the painted glass, and they have wings perfectly lined up with her back like she's an angel.
Yeah.
And then if you watch the opening theme song, you'll also notice that they're flying away and they look like angels near the end of the theme song. Yeah. So I'm wondering if they're using that just for symbolism and they're just going to write it off, or if they're using it for something plot-driven in the anime.
I'd say it's probably more symbolism towards the title. I feel like their band name will be like Angel 3Piece type deal, or just Angels or whatever. We don't actually know a band name yet for them.
Which is something you'd figure they'd think about.
But I definitely feel like it's more so there as just, see, our anime makes sense. Our title makes sense. Look at this, guys.
Yeah, there was less angel symmetry in Angel Beats, and that had somebody literally named Angel.
Well, her name was Kanade, but...
For the longest part, she was literally named Angel.
Yeah, that's just... But it was good. Like, don't get me wrong, I might be saying some negative stuff about that, but like it still was good symmetry. It definitely got its point across that these girls are angelic and you gotta love them. They're so cute.
So we're going on 30 minutes, so I think we should probably wrap up. So what's your final verdict? If you had to give it a score out of 10, 10 being the highest, 0 being the lowest.
I would give this probably about a 3.
And why is that?
I don't think this has watchability to it. I think that compared to other animes in the music genre, it doesn't hold up. While the music itself is good, I feel like the plot behind it is very thin, and the characters are very lazily done. And if you think about it, the lolicon craziness within it, it's just a little bit too much. Like, how are you supposed to watch that with anyone else? How are you supposed to suggest to someone to watch that?
Hey Mom, I'm watching music anime. Would you like to watch it with me? Oh, by the way, don't mind the lolicon pieces.
Like, for those reasons, I would definitely give it a 3.
That's interesting. I actually only give it 2 more above you. I give it a 5.
So you think it's a very average anime?
I think it's a very average anime. I don't think it's a crappy anime, and I don't think it's an amazing anime. I think it's an average anime. I was willing to give it a 5.5 or a 6, just because it's nice to see a music anime that's not idle. Like, recently, we've been getting a lot of music animes that are just idols. And so, like, Zombieland Saga, idols.
Love Live, idols.
Idol Master, idols. It's just non-stop idols. So it's really nice to see that they're not doing that. They're actually just sticking with the band thing.
Yeah. But there are a lot of animes that have come out recently with the whole we're just going to a band trope. Like, I can't think of the name right now, but there's one that like has to deal with someone who's obsessed with stars. But they want to start a band because they saw a star-shaped guitar.
I think that's a better plot-driven device than the devices in this anime.
And there's been a few that have come out like that, where they just want to start a band and it's like a 3-piece band, 4-piece band. Really, K-On! Kind of started the craze, and I mean, it's not the most popular genre, but they've definitely came out with more. I don't know if this was before K-On! Or not. I think it was after, but I am not 100% certain on that.
And okay, so I definitely give it the 5 because it's a mediocre anime. It would be higher if it didn't rely so much on the loliconness. I feel like that just makes it...
Yeah.
It's not that it makes it uncomfortable, it's just that it's out of place for the anime. The anime could be so much better without it, especially if you use the lolicon parts to, like, say, focus more on character development, because it's, as you said, the characters are a Durei type, and that's about as far as their character development goes.
Like, if they put, like, a sexual thing, joking, once every, like, 3 or 4 episodes in a quick piece, that'd be fine. It would be laughable at those points, but they focus too heavily on it.
Yeah, like 3-4 times in one episode, that's just insane.
Yeah, and you could literally fill up, like, a whole episode worth of that type of stuff out of just the 3 episodes we watched. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to be comedic, but the only thing that can be comedic about is the lolicon stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
When you could be comedic, so, like, the Dureis just working off of each other.
They don't even need this anime to be comedic, and that's the problem with it. Because this anime has the makings to be a touching anime if they thickened it up a little bit.
In the beginning of this podcast, didn't you say you thought it was just going to be your typical slice of life anime?
Yeah, it totally could have been, and they went on a different choice, and I respect trying to go different, but your different choice went downhill instead of uphill.
Alright, so between a 3 and a 5 is a 4, so I guess this anime will rank 4 out of 10 for now.
Yeah, so are you going to continue watching this?
I'm probably going to continue watching it just to see where it goes and if it goes with anything. Because it's only 12 episodes, it's not like I need to watch so much of it.
Would you be willing to go back to this anime further down the line and watch all of it and review it?
Yes. Yes, I would.
I'll tell you right now, if any listeners do suggest that we listen to this, well, watch this whole anime and review it, you are going to be my least favorite person.
You don't have to watch it. I can watch it all and review it. I actually have an anime review Tumblr, so I can just write a review on the Tumblr, and then you guys can read that, or I can read off the Tumblr for you as a small mini podcast, like 5-minute long. I can do that.
Well, I think that's all we got time for today. We will catch you next time. This has been Lucian Shoten.
And this has been EliseAyumu, and goodbye.
Bye.